Call this meeting to order at 11:04 a.m. Good afternoon. We are part of the Model United Nations Theory and Practice class spring of 2018. We will be acting as two separate regional voting blocks with two working papers. The working papers are collaborated goals of each block on issues of sustainability. Once the meeting is called to order, the nations and their delegates will be accounted for and a speakers list will be opened. Each nation and their delegates will be allocated a specific amount of time to make their case. Once all nations have addressed their issues, we will move on to presenting the working papers and voting to create a resolution. I will now hand it over to my co-chair for attendance.
Good morning. We will now start the roll call. We present present or present and voting. Canada. President voting. Perfect. India. State of Japan. Present. Kingdom of Norway. Present. Kingdom of Sweden.
Present.
Perfect. With that being said, 5 are present, 0 absent.
All right, the chair will now entertain a motion to set the topic of debate. Canada.
Canada seconds. Canada will move to set debate topic on sustainable development.
Japan will second.
Thank you. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to open the speakers list for 9 minutes with 1 minute speaking limits. India.
India would like a motion to open the speakers list with a 1 minute speaking time. The state of Japan will second.
Okay, thank you. So, at this time, the chair will open the speakers list. India? Edwin, India? The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Oh, the floor is mine. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. India moves forward to strive for a better, sustainable development on renewable energy that is healthy for the environment, as well as to move forward in the coming years in renewable energy, as well as to work with other countries that are more developed to set a game plan in order to strive for a better future with renewable energy. I yield my time to the chair.
Canada.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. To Canada, climate change has become a threatening issue to not just our country, but all nations of the world. The majority of the world has begun to take an initiative towards having sustainable and renewable energy for the better of their country and the world. Canada has since emerged as a global leader in the fight for Earth's conservation. Discussing within nations began in the United Nations, but has intensified since 2014. With that, we hope to work with the UN to double the global rate in energy efficiency. Canada yields its time to the floor.
Thank you, delegate from Canada.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. Canada would like to emphasize the dire health consequences of not switching to clean energy, and we also urge developing nations to take advantage of the resources that Canada, Norway, and Sweden offer here today to make the transition to clean energy as smooth as possible. Canada yields the rest of its time.
Thank you, delegate from Canada. Delegate from Japan, the state of Japan.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. Japan is currently at a state of 15.5% of renewable energy and clean energy. Now, Japan is working on a class passed in 2015 to reach 25.5% of renewable and clean energy by the year 2025. The people of Japan want to decrease the amount of importations of oil and the use of nuclear energy as a power source. Japan is investing in technologies including education of hydropower and solar energy. And Japan wants to emphasize that this issue of clean and renewable energy must be treated as a global issue, not just as a domestic one. At this time, I yield the rest of my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate from the state of Japan. Delegate from the Kingdom of Norway.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. The Kingdom of Norway's standpoint in relations to the topic of renewable energy, the country of Norway would like to establish an economical plan to fund renewable energy and organize goal for a future with 100% clean energy. With the Kingdom of Norway already using 98% renewable energy fueled by hydropower alongside with the UN and sponsors Canada and Sweden, we have developed a resolution to ensure renewable energy. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate from the Kingdom of Norway. Delegate from India, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, fellow delegates. The Republic of India looks forward to working with fellow delegates in order to reach a resolution as renewable energy and climate change are a pressing matter that we must all address and cannot avoid. I yield the rest of my time to the Chair.
Thank you, delegate from India. Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, fellow delegates. Each nation has planned accordingly and set specific dates on how they plan to combat climate change, but also implement policies that will ensure access to renewable energy. Both developed and developing nations have been moving rapidly to renewable energy sources, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it will bring prosperity. Sweden provides support for innovations in developing countries in order to promote cost-effective, renewable, and low-carbon energy solutions, which could be a proposal for other countries internationally to do the same and help our planet become a more affordable and clean Earth. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden. Delegate from delegate from India, you have the chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We, as the Republic of India, are willing and ready to work together on finding a solution on climate change and trying to transition to renewable energy. I realize that as a poor nation, we still need time to transition. There are going to be some difficulties, but we are here. I yield my time.
Thank you, delegate from India. Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, fellow delegates. Sweden is a partner in the UN's The Powering Agriculture and Energy Grand Challenge for Development initiative, as well as the Climate and Clean Air Coalition. Sweden wants to be a leader in the implementation of the 2030 Agenda, both nationally and globally. The 2030 Agenda involves a process of gradual transition and further development of the Swedish social model as a modern and sustainable welfare state. In its international commitment, Sweden is pursuing greater cooperation and new partnerships between countries, the private sector, the social partners, civil society organizations, and the knowledge society in various parts of the world. I yield the rest of my time to the floor.
At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to close the speakers list. Delegate from Canada.
Canada would like to move to close the speakers list.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you. The speakers list is now closed. My co-chair will now present working paper number 1.
So General Assembly, the renewable energy. We have our sponsors Canada, Sweden, and Norway. Our signatories are India and Japan. Right. The General Assembly. Reaffirming that the 3 primary issues of this assembly are as follows. A, to establish an economic plan to fund renewable energy. B, to establish an organized goal for a future with 100% clean energy in every country attending today. C, to establish and effective collaboration amongst states to create equal opportunity for clean energy technology. Recalling its previous resolutions placed by the General Assembly that includes 53-7, 1998, Resolution 55-205, 2002, Resolution 56-200, 58-210 of 23 December 2003. We have 60-199 of 22 December 2005, 62-187 of 19 December 2007, 64-206 of 21 December 2009, 66 of 199 of 22 December 2010 on the International Year of Sustainable Energy for All, and 67-215 of 21 December 2012, in which it decided to declare 2014 through 2024 the United Nations Decade of Sustainable Energy for All. On September 25, 2015, countries in the United Nations adopted a set of goals to end poverty, protect the planet, and to ensure prosperity as part of our new sustainable development agenda. Each of the 17 goals has specific targets to be achieved over the next 15 years. Noting the importance of having global access to renewable energy by 2030, clean energy is arguably one of the most important issues our species must confront in the coming decades. Clean energy is a necessary step away from a society dependent on finite polluting fuels to one that uses clean renewable energy. Acknowledges the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres as leading the Sustainable Energy for All initiative to ensure universal access to modern energy services, improving efficiency and increased use of renewable sources after ex-UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Stressing actual life cycle costs and public health effects of coal has been estimated to be $74.6 billion every year. The cost of not transitioning could be dire to all nations of the world. Deeply disturbed that air and water pollution emitted by coal and natural gas plants is linked to breathing problems, neurological damage, heart attacks, cancer, premature death, and a host of other serious problems. Noting with concern that 1 in 5 people lack access to modern electricity, 3 billion people rely on wood, coal, charcoal, or animal waste for cooking and heating. Deeply alarmed that at present calculations, a changing environment caused by the burning of fossil fuels will lead to a host of natural disasters. Gases released are like a blanket trapping heat, which results in major and harmful impacts of which we have seen and experienced lately, like stronger and more frequent storms, to drought, sea level rise, extinction of animals, and further disruptions in the Earth's natural ecosystem that threatens all life on Earth. Urges countries like India and Japan to convert renewable energy in half of the estimated time due to its effective economic standpoint. Also recognizing the benefits that come along with the transition to clean energy, such as the economical benefits that could come out from renewable energy compared to fossil fuel technologies, which are typically mechanized and capital intensive. The renewable energy industry is more labor intensive. Solar panels need humans to install them. Wind farms need technicians for maintenance. This means that averagely more jobs are created for each unit of electricity generated from renewable sources from fossil fuels. Realizing that the energy fueled by fossil fuels have proven to be less economically efficient and potentially catastrophic to our environment when compared to clean and renewable energy sources, and that continuing on with fossil fuel energy sources could lead to health and financial issues worldwide, thus weakening large and small states alike. Bearing in mind that while electricity can be produced through renewable energy, the steady supply of oil is economically beneficial to most developing states. Confident in state collaboration to ensure global access to renewable energy and creating incentives for renewable energy as economic influence. 1, urges governments to offer incentives to encourage private companies to use and invest in renewable energy sources. 2, encourages developing countries to work alongside Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, Rachel Kite, and the Department of Economic and Social Affairs to develop an individual plan toward reaching sustainable development goals without economic sacrifice. also encourages the continued promotion and encouragement of clean and renewable energy within the United Nations system via the Sustainable Energy for All Global Initiative. 4, calls on strong and developed nations to work collaboratively and support developing nations with financial and technological resources. 5, notes the Goal 7 targets for the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, including but not limited to A, double the global rate of improvement in energy efficiency. B, establish infrastructure and upgrade technology so as to ensure modern and sustainable energy services for all developing countries. C, ensure universal access to economically efficient, sustainable, and modern energy sources. D, encourage global cooperation to facilitate access to renewable energy research and technology. E, significantly increase the amount of clean energy in the global energy mix.
Thank you, Co-Chair. At this time, the Chair will entertain a motion to open a moderated discussion on working paper number 1 for 7 minutes with 1 minute speaking limits.
India will move for a moderated discussion for 7 minutes with 1 minute speaking limits.
Thank you, Delegate from India. Do I have a second? Japan will second. The moderated discussion is now open.
So, India motions to strike Clause 1B to establish an organized goal for a future with 100% clean energy in every country attending today, and insert to establish an organized goal for a future with 100% clean energy in every UN member state.
Thank you, Delegate from India. Does another delegate second that motion?
Japan will second.
Delegate from Japan, thank you. Is there any further discussion on this motion? With no further discussion on this motion, we will now bring this amendment to a vote. Those in favor, raise your placards. Those against, raise your placards. All right. 5 ayes, 0 nays. The ayes have it. The working paper has been amended to state to establish an organized goal for a future with 100% clean energy in every UN member state. Is there any further discussion regarding working paper number 1?
The kingdom, no?
Thank you, Delegate from Japan, the state of Japan. Does another delegate second that motion?
India seconds.
Thank you, Delegate from India. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
The Kingdom of Sweden would like to ask the delegate from Japan why would he like to strike this motion?
Thank you, Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My fellow delegates, may I remind you that the United Nations may not infringe on the sovereignty of other member nations. This amendment not only singles out my fellow delegates from India, but shamed the state of Japan for not shifting our renewable energies to 100%, which the sponsors of working paper number 1 want us to do in half of the time. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate from the state of Japan.
It is not to punish other nations, it is to help them in achieving the goal of 100% clean energy. Being that Japan is surrounded by water, they have the resources to go forth with using hydropower, which would minimize their use of oil as their main source. Due to Norway using hydropower as their main source, we would be able to assist Japan in the transition. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate from the Kingdom of Norway. Is there any further discussion on this motion? If there's no further discussion at this time, we will now move on to vote on the proposed amendment to working paper number 1. Those in favor of striking operational clause 9 in working paper 1, raise your placards. Those against, raise your placards. 2 for, 3 against. The motion to strike operational clause 9 from working paper number 1 is not passed. Yes, Delegate from Canada.
Canada would like to motion to have working paper number 2 presented.
Thank you, Delegate from Canada. Does any other delegate second that motion? Thank you, Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to open, at this time the chair will hand off to the co-chair so that he can read the working paper number 2.
So we have the General Assembly, the agenda item, Sustainable Development Goal 7. Sponsor, India and Japan. Signatories, Canada, Norway, and Sweden. The General Assembly. Reaffirming that the 4 key issues of the Assembly are A, to ensure universal access to affordable, reliable, and modern energy services. B, to increase sustainability, the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix. C, to enhance international cooperation to facilitate access to clean energy research and technology, including renewable energy, energy efficiency, and advanced and cleaner fossil fuel technology, and promote investment in energy infrastructure and clean energy technology. D, to expand infrastructure and upgrade technology for supplying modern and sustainable energy services for all in developing countries, in particular least developed countries, small island development states, and landlocked developing countries in accordance with their respective programs of support. Recalling its resolutions 72-224 of 2018 and 67-215 of 2012. Emphasizing the need of all countries to participate in the expansion of affordable, dependable, and environmentally responsible energy. The conscious of the factor that not all countries have the economic resource for an immediate overhaul of their energy sector. Noting that more than 80% of the worldwide energy source used in 2014 was fossil fuel based. Aware of the large role fossil fuels are in the output of nations and subsequently their economies. Affirming that this use poses a great danger to the global community through both economic and environmental means. Desiring that this percentage of dependency of fossil fuels be reduced at the global level by reducing the percentage of each individual nation. Urges nations A, to facilitate the increase of their nation's energy sector in regards to clean energy. B, to increase the availability and access to reliable clean energy of its civilian population. C, to share the knowledge and technology on renewable energy with fellow nations. D, with the highest percentage of renewable energy are responsible for helping those countries with lower percentage of renewable energy.
Thank you, Co-Chair. At this time, the Chair will entertain a motion to open a moderated discussion on working paper number 2 for 7 minutes with 1 minute speaking limits. Kingdom of Norway.
Kingdom of Norway motions to begin moderated discussion on working paper 2 for 7 minutes with 1 minute speaking time.
Does another delegate second? Thank you, Delegate from Canada.
The Kingdom of Sweden motions to begin moderated, motions to strike operational clause 9D with the highest percentage of renewable energy are responsible for helping those countries with lower percentage of renewable energy, and insert with the highest percentage of renewable energy to help those countries with lower percentage of renewable energy.
Thank you, Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden.
Canada seconds.
Thank you, Delegate from Canada. Is there any further discussion on this motion? With no further discussion, the Chair will entertain a motion to vote on the proposed amendment for working paper number 2.
The State of Japan motions to vote on amending the working paper number 2.
Thank you, Delegate from the State of Japan.
From the Kingdom of Sweden, seconds it.
Thank you, Delegate from the Kingdom of Sweden. Those in favor of amending working paper number 2, raise your placards. Those against, raise your placards. 5-4, 0 against. The motion to amend operational clause 9D from working paper number 2 is passed. Is there any further discussion to be had on the working paper at this time? At this time, the Chair will entertain a motion to vote on working paper number 1. Delegate from Canada.
Canada would like to motion to vote on working paper number 1.
Thank you, Delegate from Canada. Delegate from the Kingdom of Norway.
Kingdom of Norway seconds.
Thank you. Those in favor of passing working paper number 1 as amended, raise your placards. Those against, raise your placards. 3 for, 2 against. The motion for working paper number 1 as amended has passed and become resolution number 1. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to vote on working paper number 2.
The state of Japan will motion working paper number 2.
Thank you, delegate from the state of Japan.
Republic of India, seconds.
Thank you, delegate from India. Those in favor of passing working paper number 2 as amended, raise your placards. Those against, raise your placards. 2 or 4, 3 against. The motion for working paper number 2 as amended has not passed and will not become a resolution. Delegates, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
The state of Japan will move to end debate.
Canada seconds.
Thank you, delegates. At this time, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much, delegates, and thank you, members of the audience. Thank you for your support this morning. At this time, we will entertain questions from any member of the audience regarding the subject matter of renewable, sustainable energy. Yes.
Has any of these new forms of energy been affected by, say, oil, let's say, yes, these are new methods, but what are the drawbacks to these new renewable energy, saying, like, what are the cost effectiveness of them, like, so to say, to make the solar panels, to make wind turbines, to make the aqua jets, what does it cost, and or what is the maintenance in these products?
Good question. Does any of the delegates want to answer that question? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you mean the environmental impacts or the sort of flaws that would come with all these, or is it just purely financial?
I would say it falls within those domains because yes, there is an environmental footprint because yes, some homes or areas will be demolished for these new forms of construction made for the aquas. There will be cuttings of water, so say fishing domains, and for wind turbines, I would assume that that would cut off certain land for farmers or any homes that are on land versus along the lines of anything along the lines of that. But also there is the maintenance fees, like say a piece of the machine breaks down, how much will it cost to repair these machines? And along the lines of like taxation and stuff like that versus sorry, along the lines of also in the sense of I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's the form of running these machinery. Like how much job way will this make for the people who have to repair it, and or like will this offer jobs in the future for any employment? I understand that need for maintenance and or along the lines of constructing these materials.
And the sort of environmental, the sort of plus minus of it, like for example, with solar panels, I do understand that there's the aspect of getting the minerals to build those solar panels. One of the negatives you could say for solar panels would be that it depends on the light of the sun in order to function. If you could have batteries, you might circumvent that sort of situation. Of course, batteries are not that dense. And one of the negatives with wind power is that it needs wind. But you could put it in areas. There was one concept that you brought up, and probably put wind turbines in coastal areas where you would usually have high winds, and especially in hurricane areas, especially where they would work a lot more efficiently. In sense of cost, short term it might cost a little more, but you could try to put it in like an investment, in which you put some money in, and then it'll get paid back eventually. And in many cases, it is becoming cheaper and cheaper to do this sort of thing, if that is something you do worry about.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. You have a response?
To build on his point, the costs the benefits far outweigh the costs. Just on healthcare alone, like our country of Canada, our country would save an average of 107 billion per year, which is 4% of our country's GDP, because of reduced health risks from air pollution. And you brought up space with wind turbines and solar panels. But the wind turbines, enough to power our country, would only take up 0.29% of the entire land in Canada, which is a lot. Additionally, it would help the average consumer, as renewable jobs are more labor intensive versus like oil and gas, which are more mechanized. So that means a creation of jobs in low-income areas, such as the Midwest. It also means more money for the average consumer. Like in Canada alone, it would be an average of $1,000 extra per year, given directly back to the people.
Thank you very much. We'll entertain one more question from the audience. You're the only one? Okay, go ahead.
How much would you say, in consideration of each nation, of the public departments, what would you say is most beneficial? Because yes, in Sweden, I would say yes, the wind turbines would be more beneficial because of the areas that the wind mostly guidelines it. But in the sense of like each nation would have its own beneficial towards more leeway to wind turbine, water. But in a sense of, what would you say is the most? Would you see each nation be able to benefit from each one of these, or in a sense of that one nation would be more beneficial to this energy resource versus other nations because of its location on the world?
Yeah, go ahead, Isaac.
That's a very good question. In the sense of what sort of energy can be used by area, they mentioned Japan. They were mentioning the whole concept of hydroelectric because it's an archipelago. And of course, there's a situation with the U.S. would benefit a lot with solar panels because of the Southwest being a patch of desert. Keep in mind that those aren't the only sort of clean energy sources that you could have. Eventually, you could have something like nuclear fusion, in which it is not dependent by area, and you could do it about anywhere, regardless of the area. But for now, those are pretty good solutions, and it is a good idea to take it case-by-case basis, which is more efficient for each area.
Okay, thank you, Delegate from India. Yes, Professor Falcon.
Quick question, comment. This is awesome, first. How many of you guys are poli-sci majors? How many in the audience? Okay, we gotta fix that. Good job, you guys. Good job.
Thank you, Professor Falcon.
Self-promotion, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at this time, yeah, we want to promote our department. We want more poli-sci major. Okay. The subject matter is very complicated. In 2015, the United Nations, made up of 193 countries in the world, came up with the idea of sustainable development goals. They have 17 goals that they have set, and one of them is renewable energy. So the idea is to encourage the countries of the world to move toward, to transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy resource. That would take a long time, and it will take a combination of effort. So it's not just depending on solar or hydro or nuclear only. It's a combination of energy resources that we take the whole world towards more renewable, and particularly sustainable. So to ensure that we leave the world better than when we met it, when we were here. So that is the idea. The delegates you see here, they represent 5 countries. So if you see more than one placard raised up and the chair say 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, is because there are 16 students representing 5 different countries. And so the countries are Canada, India, Japan, Norway, and Sweden that are represented here today. So they have done their research within the last 10 to 12 weeks to know about the country and the country's policy on this issue. And so what you saw them present today is a great effort that they have put in the class. This is the Model United Nations class, Polyci 250. So if you are interested, we encourage you. We offer the class every semester. So next semester it will be offered at 6 p.m. on Mondays. So we encourage you to enroll in the class as you consider your fall semester classes. Once again, I want to acknowledge my fellow faculty members here from the Poli-Sci department, Professor Obasohan, who is the chair of the department. Thank you very much for coming. And Professor Dennis Falcon, thank you very much for your encouragement and support. And all of you students, some of you from my class and from their classes and from other faculty classes, thank you very much for your encouragement. I think Professor Obasohan has a comment. Yes, sir. Yes, tomorrow evening at the board meeting at 7 o'clock, the Model United Nations Club members will be recognized for their accomplishment in the international Change the World Model United Nations conference that they attended during the spring break in March. 6 of them won awards, Best Delegate Awards, and also award for Best Policy Paper. They will be recognized tomorrow at the board meeting to present the certificate to the school that was offered to the school for allowing the students to participate, and also to show off their certificates of accomplishment. So if you are able to attend, please come and cheer up your fellow students at the board meeting. Once again, thank you, and that concludes our meeting for today.